R&B singer Blu Cantrell, famed for hits like Hit 'Em Up Style, Oops, has come forward with shocking allegations that have sent shockwaves through the music world. In a deeply personal and harrowing revelation, Blu claims she became pregnant after an encounter with Jay-Z at the infamous Freakoff party, a private, elite industry event shrouded in secrecy. What began as a professional meeting quickly turned into a life-altering ordeal. Blu alleges that after discovering her pregnancy, she faced not only Jay-Z's silence, but also direct threats from Beyoncé herself, who allegedly forced her to terminate the pregnancy to protect their powerful empire. This explosive story exposes a hidden, darker side of celebrity power, raising urgent questions about manipulation, control, and abuse behind the glamour of the music industry. The beginning, a night at Freakoff. Blu Cantrell, a name synonymous with smooth R&B hits like Hit 'Em Up Style, Oops, and Breathe, has long been celebrated for her soulful voice and undeniable talent. Yet, behind the scenes of her career, a dark chapter unfolded, one that would shake the foundations of her life and expose the hidden realities of power and influence within the music industry. The turning point came during Freakoff, an infamous private party known to attract some of the most influential figures in hip-hop and R&B. It was a gathering shrouded in exclusivity, where deals were whispered in shadowy corners and alliances were forged far from the public gaze. For Blu, Freakoff was supposed to be a chance to connect professionally with key players and elevate her artistry. But the night took an unexpected turn. Blu recalls the moment she crossed paths with Jay-Z, one of the most powerful moguls in music history. "I thought it was just a regular industry meeting," she says quietly. "We were supposed to talk collaboration, music, business. I never imagined what would happen next." What began as a professional interaction quickly evolved into something far more complicated and fraught with unspoken power dynamics. Blu describes a situation that blurred boundaries and mixed personal with professional in ways that left her vulnerable. "I trusted him," she admits. "I believed we were just connecting as artists. But the situation was much more complicated, and it changed my life forever." That night, the veneer of glamour faded, revealing an undercurrent of influence and manipulation that Blu had never anticipated. The music industry, she realized, was a world where power could be wielded silently but with devastating consequences. The pregnancy, a secret that could not stay. Hidden weeks after that fateful night at Freakoff, Blu discovered she was pregnant. The news was at once overwhelming and terrifying. A profound mix of hope, fear, and uncertainty washed over her. For any woman, an unplanned pregnancy brings complex emotions, but for Blu, the stakes were exponentially higher. She reached out to Jay-Z, expecting the man who had shared that night to step forward, offer support, or at least acknowledge the life growing inside her. Instead, she was met with silence. "Jay disappeared," she recalls bitterly. "No calls, no messages. It was like I was invisible." The silence spoke volumes. Blu was left to navigate a precarious and isolating path alone, unsure of who to trust. But what made matters worse was how quickly news of her pregnancy spread within the tightly knit circles of the music elite. Despite efforts to keep it private, whispers began to circulate. Rumors fueled by fear and the desire to protect powerful reputations. Suddenly, Blu found herself at the center of a covert battle. She describes a series of veiled threats and shadowy meetings designed to silence her. "I was warned, explicitly, that if I talked or if this got out, there would be serious consequences," Blu explains. "They made it clear that my career, my safety, and everything I cared about could be destroyed." Her story exposes the harsh reality faced by many women in the entertainment industry: the pressure to stay quiet, to conform, and to protect those who hold the power, even at the cost of one's own truth. Beyoncé's role, the Queen's ultimatum, perhaps the most explosive and heartbreaking part of Blu Cantrell's revelation, centers on none other than Beyoncé Knowles, global icon, multi-Grammy winner, and Jay-Z's wife. According to Blu, Beyoncé was far from a bystander in the saga. Instead, she played an active, intimidating role in shaping what Blu describes as a forced decision that altered the course of her life. "It was Beyoncé who made it clear I couldn't have this child," Blu confesses, her voice trembling as she recounts the memory. "She threatened me. She told me that if I went public, or even carried the pregnancy to term, my career would be over. And worse, my safety would be at risk." This revelation paints a stark contrast to the polished, empowering image of Queen Bey that fans worldwide admire. Behind the scenes, Blu describes a woman who is fiercely protective, willing to wield power ruthlessly to defend her family and the empire they've built together. "It wasn't just about Jay-Z," Blu says bitterly. "It was about protecting a legacy. They saw me as a threat and acted without hesitation." The chilling ultimatum Blu received highlights the extent to which power can be weaponized to control narratives and silence potential scandals. "She made it clear that the consequences would be severe if I didn't comply," Blu recalls. "I was scared. This was no empty threat." Social media and the entertainment world exploded when these allegations surfaced, with many struggling to reconcile the public persona of Beyoncé, the symbol of female empowerment and resilience, with this darker account of coercion and intimidation. Yet, Blu insists this hidden side is real, underscoring a troubling truth about celebrity culture. Beneath the glamour and carefully crafted images lies a system where control is maintained at any cost. The termination, a decision forced by power. The pressure Blu faced was overwhelming. Surrounded by a network of influential people wielding threats veiled in subtlety and aggression, she says she was left with no real choice but to terminate the pregnancy. "It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make," Blu admits, her voice breaking with emotion. "But I felt completely alone, scared for my future, and drowning in threats. I wasn't given a choice. I was forced into it." Her account reveals a grim reality. What should have been a deeply personal and autonomous decision was transformed into a coerced act, dictated by the powerful figures who sought to maintain their image at any cost. Blu describes a suffocating environment where her voice was drowned out by intimidation and fear. Legal experts who have reviewed the allegations suggest that if Blu's story is true, the coercion involved could have serious legal implications. Pressure or threats to terminate a pregnancy can constitute coercion under the law, explains a prominent attorney specializing in entertainment law. It could lead to civil suits, and in some jurisdictions, even criminal investigations. Beyond the legal ramifications, the emotional toll is immense. Blu's experience sheds light on the often invisible suffering endured by those caught in the crossfire of celebrity power struggles, where autonomy is stripped away and decisions are made for them, not by them. Industry fallout, the web of silence and control. Blu Cantrell's story does not exist in a vacuum. Insiders within the music and entertainment industry have confirmed that her experience reflects a broader culture of secrecy, control, and silencing, especially when it comes to protecting the interests of high-profile figures. Women in the industry, particularly those who are seen as threats or liabilities, are often pressured into silence, reveals a former industry executive who spoke under condition of anonymity. There's a whole network, from managers and lawyers to PR teams, tasked with keeping damaging stories under wraps. This systemic approach to damage control is designed to preserve the public image of stars and corporations at any cost, often at the expense of victims' voices and well-being. Blu's allegations expose how this machinery operates, revealing the dark underbelly of an industry obsessed with control. It's a deeply entrenched culture where truth takes a back seat to reputation, the insider adds. Stories like Blu's aren't rare. They're part of a disturbing pattern. Fan reactions, divided and explosive. The fallout from Blu's revelations has ignited a firestorm on social media, dividing fans, celebrities, and the public alike. Hashtags such as #JusticeForBlu and "A Truth About Freakoff" quickly trended on Twitter and Instagram, signaling a grassroots movement rallying behind her courage. Supporters flooded Blu's social media with messages of encouragement and solidarity, praising her bravery for speaking out against what many see as an abuse of power. "We stand with Blu," read numerous posts, emphasizing the importance of believing survivors and demanding accountability from those at the top. However, the backlash has been equally fierce. Skeptics have questioned the timing and motives behind Blu's allegations, accusing her of seeking publicity or stirring controversy. Some have demanded concrete evidence, while others defended Beyoncé and Jay-Z, asserting that these claims contradict everything they know about the couple. This polarized response has expanded the conversation beyond the individuals involved, sparking a wider debate about celebrity culture, power dynamics, and the limits of accountability in an industry shrouded in secrecy. Legal and ethical questions: what happens next? Blu Cantrell's allegations open a Pandora's box of legal and ethical issues that demand scrutiny. If her claims are substantiated, the ramifications could be profound, not only for the individuals named, but for the entertainment industry as a whole. Legal experts highlight that coercion or threats related to pregnancy termination can constitute serious violations of personal rights and may be grounds for civil litigation or even criminal charges. This could be precedent-setting, notes an entertainment law specialist. It shines a spotlight on the need for stronger protections for those who face undue pressure and intimidation. Beyond the courtroom, there are ethical considerations about the responsibility of celebrities and their entourages to uphold integrity and respect human rights. The case raises urgent questions about how far power can and should be allowed to go in controlling narratives and silencing dissent. Industry watchdogs and advocacy groups have called for independent investigations and greater transparency in handling such allegations, emphasizing the importance of protecting vulnerable individuals in high-stakes environments. The voices of other women, breaking the silence. Blu Cantrell's decision to speak out against Jay-Z and Beyoncé's alleged coercion has sparked a wave of courage among women within the entertainment industry who have long suffered in silence. For years, many women, ranging from rising artists and backup singers to former executives, have hinted at, or quietly disclosed, experiences of intimidation, manipulation, and suppression, often linked to powerful figures within the music world. In recent days, anonymous testimonies and leaked private messages have surfaced, revealing a troubling pattern. Women who pose a threat to the carefully curated images of megastars often face relentless pressure to keep quiet. There's a network of control, says one anonymous source who spoke with industry insiders. If you threaten the narrative, you risk everything: your career, your reputation, even your personal safety. These revelations have emboldened activists and advocacy groups focused on protecting women in entertainment. Organizations such as Women in Music and Time's Up have issued calls for a comprehensive, independent investigation into the allegations. They stress the urgent need for enforceable safeguards that protect women from coercion, abuse, and retaliation. The system has long been stacked against women, says a spokesperson for a leading advocacy group. Blu's story isn't isolated. It's a symptom of a larger problem, where power is weaponized to silence and control. Jay-Z and Beyoncé. The response. As Blu Cantrell's explosive allegations continue to ripple through social media and the entertainment world, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have chosen a strategy of silence. Neither superstar has publicly addressed the claims of coercion and intimidation that Blu has leveled against them. Instead, their representatives quickly issued a joint statement, firmly denying all accusations. "We categorically deny all false allegations," the statement reads. "These claims are baseless and without merit. We will not dignify unfounded accusations with further comment." Despite the swift denial, public scrutiny remains intense and relentless. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds for fierce debate. Supporters of Blu rally behind hashtags like #JusticeForBlu, demanding accountability and transparency, while skeptics question the validity of her claims and accuse her of seeking attention. Journalists and industry insiders closely monitor the situation, many speculating that Blu's revelations may be just the tip of the iceberg. There is widespread anticipation that additional witnesses or corroborative evidence could soon surface, potentially expanding the scope of this scandal. Crisis management experts see the silence and denial approach as a calculated move designed to contain immediate damage. However, history reveals this strategy often only delays inevitable fallout. When powerful figures are implicated in serious allegations, a prolonged silence can sometimes fuel suspicion and erode public trust, especially as new details come to light over time. The bigger picture: power, control, and the entertainment industry. Blu Cantrell's allegations are more than a sensational headline involving two of the world's most famous musicians. They serve as a stark and unsettling window into the darker realities of the entertainment industry. Behind the polished facade of fame and fortune lies a complex system built on power, control, and often ruthless self-preservation. At the heart of Blu's story is a harrowing example of how vulnerable individuals, especially women, can be caught in a ruthless struggle to protect celebrity legacies and public images. The secret pregnancy, the alleged coercion to terminate it, and the threats aimed at silencing her illustrate how human lives can be sacrificed to maintain a flawless narrative. This culture of control is sustained by an extensive network beyond the stars themselves. Lawyers, managers, PR teams, and industry executives collaborate to safeguard reputations and suppress damaging stories. As one industry analyst puts it, the power imbalance is staggering. Those at the top hold all the cards, and anyone who challenges the status quo risks losing everything. Blu's revelations bring renewed urgency to ongoing conversations about accountability within Hollywood and the music business. These sectors have long been criticized for enabling environments where abuse, intimidation, and coercion often go unchecked. Her story underscores the systemic nature of these issues, where fame and money provide cover for misconduct and silence. A call for truth and accountability. Blu Cantrell's brave decision to expose these allegations challenges the carefully maintained illusions surrounding celebrity power and truth. Her courage lifts the veil on a hidden world where manipulation and control inflict profound harm, often shielded from public view by layers of influence and intimidation. Her story demands more than individual accountability. It calls for systemic reform. It forces us to ask difficult questions about the structures that enable abuse and protect the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. Will the industry finally confront these issues honestly? Or will silence continue to protect those with influence? As Blu's journey from victim to whistleblower unfolds, the world watches closely. Legal experts are already examining the potential ramifications, and the possibility of lawsuits or investigations looms on the horizon. Her voice, once stifled, now resonates as a powerful call for transparency, justice, and change in an industry desperate for it. The path ahead is uncertain and filled with obstacles. But one thing is clear: the era of unchecked power and secrecy in entertainment may be nearing its reckoning. And Blu Cantrell stands at the forefront of that critical moment.